Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I will show you how to make a bracelet using charms and porcelain beads. So these will be the china beads that I will use. So as you can see, the beads are black and white. And they are made of china, of porcelain. I will also use these beads in the shape of flowers and also these oval beads, metal beads. For the central part of the bracelet, I will use this bead in the shape of a tube here, another metal bead, a distancing bead, spacer bead, and I will also need some charms, and I've chosen these metal charms in the shape of feathers. And now let's talk about the findings. I will use this closure for the bracelet. Of course, I will also use these white beads. I forgot to tell you about these small white beads. I will also need some crimps. And some bead caps for the end of the bracelet, and the jump rings, which are a type of finding that is used very often when you make jewelry. In order to make the bracelet, I will also need some nylon string. I've used this black nylon string. And now let's talk about the tools that I will use. So I will use this needle, which is called the big eye beading needle, in order to put the beads on this thread. And also for the thread I will need a pair of scissors and a lighter. While for the findings, I will need tools such as the pliers. I have different types of pliers here. These are the chain nose pliers. As you can see, they are flat here, they have no teeth, to prevent them from scratching my findings, and also the jump ring opener for the jump rings. And now that we have talked about the beads, the charms, the tools and the findings, let's begin making our bracelet. The first step is to take the thread and to make some knots, 1 or 2 knots, at the end of our thread. Remember that since you have these bead caps, the shape of the knot is not so relevant because it will be hidden by the bead cap. So it doesn't matter if your knot does not look very aesthetic, because it will be hidden by this bead cap and it will be invisible. So if you want, you can make even 3 knots like this to make sure that your bracelet does not open. And now that I have made the knot at the end of my cord, I will cut the end of the nylon thread, and I will use the lighter to burn the remainder of the thread so that we have this knot exactly at the end of this piece of thread, nylon thread. Now I will put the thread through my needle, and I will take one of those crimps, and I will put the crimp on my needle like this and move it towards the end of my thread next to the knot. Now with the pliers I will press on my crimp this way, and as you can see, the crimp is exactly next to my knot. This way. Now I will take one of those bead caps and put the bead cap on my thread like this, and as you can see, the knot and the crimp are inside of my bead cap. Now all we have to do is close this bead cap this way, and as you can see, I have a beautiful bead at the end of my string, so the knot as well as the crimp are no longer visible here because they are covered by this bead cap. Now I will continue by taking one of those jump rings, and I will open the jump ring. So in order to open the jump ring, you can use either two pliers or a plier and the jump ring opener. Now, as you can see, I opened this jump ring, and I will take the bead cap and put the jump ring through the bead cap end here, and I will take the toggle clasp like this and put it on my jump ring. And now I will close the jump ring this way, and I have created the end of my bracelet like this. Now again, I will put the thread through the needle, and I will start adding the beads on the thread. And now that we have added the toggle clasp at the end, I will put the thread on my needle, and I will start adding the beads. The first step will be to add some black and white beads at the end of my bracelet. This way, and now I will start adding the porcelain bead, the metal bead, the porcelain bead, the next metal bead. Now I will put the first charm, another bead, another metal bead, the second charm, another porcelain bead. Then I will put a metal flower bead, a white bead, and now I have reached the central spacer bead, and I have created the half of the bracelet. And let's continue. I will put the other beads symmetrically, the rest of my beads symmetrically. So I put the white bead, the metal flower bead, the first ceramic bead, the feather charm, the first feather charm, another metal bead, another porcelain bead, the smaller feather charm, and the rest of my beads. And now let's close the bracelet with the white and black beads. This way. And now I have added all the beads on the bracelet, and we have to close the bracelet now. Now, in order to close the bracelet, I will begin by putting the bead cap on the thread like this. Then I will take the crimp and put the crimp on my needle too. This way. And I will remove the needle, and I will make sure that there is some space between the beads so that they are not too compressed, and I will press on my crimp. And now that we have the crimp here, above the crimp I will make a knot to make sure that the crimp doesn't slip off the thread. Now I will cut the end of the thread with the scissors. I will take the lighter and burn the end of the thread. Like this. And the next step is to close the bead cap so that the crimp is no longer visible and the knot. This way. Now I will take the jump ring and open the jump ring. So I will grab it with the pliers and open it with the jump ring opener. So I will open it a bit more. So that the toggle clasp can be put on the jump ring like this. So I have put the toggle clasp on the jump ring. Now I will put the jump ring through the bead end. And I will close the jump ring. This way. Like this. And now I have also attached the end of the toggle clasp, and the bracelet is ready. And this is what the finished bracelet looks like. And this is what the bracelet looks like on the wrist. So I hope that you like this bracelet, and I hope that you liked this video.